Today we're going to look at the tangent sum and difference formulas. Before we start, you want to make sure that you have the formulas for these written down. So you should put these on your green sheet. It was in the Desmos. Tangent of A plus B. Tangent A plus tangent B over 1 minus tangent A tangent B. And if I have a subtraction, the numerator subtracting, and the denominator is adding. All right. So if you haven't put those two on your green sheet, go ahead and do that first. We're going to be using these formulas in our notes to solve some problems. All right. So first things first, we've got tangent of 195 of. So I want to think about what two angles are going to add to 195. There's a lot of options here. You could do 45 plus 150. I'm personally like to use 60 in any of my tangents. Now, the reason I like to use 60, well, 45 is always a great one to use too, but tangent of 30 degrees, and I'm going to write these on the top so that I can reference them, is root 3 over 3. Tangent of 45 degrees is 1, and tangent of 60 is root 3. Now I'm going to have a 45. It's the only way I'm going to add or subtract any of these. But 60 is easier to use than 30 because root 3 is easier than root 3 over 3. I don't want to have fractions within my fractions. So that's that pro tip if you know it at the bottom. Pro tip, always try and use 60 whenever possible. And that's to avoid a root 3 over 3. So while 45 plus 150 will work, I'm going to actually use 60 plus 135. So, and you could get these off of your unit circle as that background knowledge. So tangent of 60 plus 135, 60 degrees plus 135 degrees, is going to be tangent of 60 plus tangent of 135 over 1 minus tangent of 60 tangent of 135. Now I'm going to evaluate these. Tangent of 60 is root 3. Tangent of 135, well, that has a reference angle of 45 degrees, but it's in quadrant 2. So instead of a positive 1, it'll be a negative 1. And then on the bottom, I'm going to have 1 minus root 3 times negative 1. So I end up here with 1 plus root 3. In general, we like to rationalize our denominators, so we're going to multiply by the conjugate. That's that same radical pieces with a different sign in between them. And now I'm going to FOIL that numerator. I get root 3 minus 3 minus 1 plus another root 3 over 1 minus root 3 plus root 3 minus 3. So those will cancel each other out. We knew that was going to happen. And I have negative 4 plus 2 root 3, because I have a root 3 plus another root 3 is 2 root 3 over negative 2. And then I'm going to simplify and get 2 minus root 3. Okay. I'm going to do another one. I have tangent of negative 15. Again, my choices that I can work off of are 30, 45, and 60. I'm going to use 60 because that was our pro tip, so I'm going to do 45 minus 60. Notice I'm doing a subtraction here on this one. So it looks really similar, but it'll have a subtraction in the numerator and an addition in the denominator. You see a lot of the same numbers happening on these here because these are degree symbols. You're working with the same three numbers. So now tangent of 45 minus 60 to be 1 minus root 3 over 1 plus 1 times root 3. 1 minus root 3 over 1 plus root 3. And I'm going to rationalize again. This time I'm multiplying by 1 minus root 3 because I want to have that conjugate, which is the same numbers but a different sign between them. The FOIL on the top, I get 1 minus root 3 plus 3. And on the bottom, 1 minus root 3 plus root 3 minus 3. This time I have 4 minus 2 root 3 over negative 2. That is negative 2 plus root 3. So that's tangent of negative 15 degrees. Now, on the bottom of this page, it says, I want you to do tangent of negative 15 again, but this time without using 60 degrees. The reason why we're going to go through the same problem is I want you to see the difference of when you use 30 degrees in it. So I'm going to have tangent of 30 minus 45. We all agree it should be the same answer because it's the same angle and I'm still doing tangent. I'm just finding it a different way, but I want you to see the difference when I do it this way. Plus there. So tangent of 30 degrees is root 3 over 3. Ugh, already you can see how much worse that looks. 1 plus root 3 over 3 times 1. So you're ending up, I'm going to kind of go sideways for a moment. We've got fractions in our fractions. No one wants to deal with that if they don't have to. I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 3 to deal with those fractions. Because again, no one likes fractions in our fractions. And now I'm going to rationalize. And right now, it doesn't really look like it's going to be the same answer. Watch what happens. 3 root 3 minus 3 minus 9 minus another 3 root 3. And on the bottom, 9 minus 3 root 3 plus 3 root 3 minus 3. So these ones cancel. I'm running out of space, but it's okay. This one's a plus. 6 root 3 minus 12 over 6. Which will give me root 3 minus 2, which is the same thing I got there as negative 2 plus root 3. They're the same answer, just written in a different order. But I thought that one was harder with dealing with the fractions inside our fractions. So that's why my recommendation is to do it with using 60 whenever possible. Okay, so if you can find it with using 60 as one of your two angles, that's the route I would take. So find the exact value for this. So I want to first figure out, does this look like a tangent sum or a tangent difference? And I don't have this question like I did with sine and cosine of, is it sine or is it cosine? Because you see tangents and you're like, it's got to be tangent. So I'm going to say it has to be tangent. And looking at the numerator, you see how that has a subtraction? That's going to tell me it's a tangent of a minus b. And you can see the denominator has that positive. So my a here is 150 and my b is 30. So this is really tangent of 150 minus 30, which we know is tangent of 120. Now you can see here in the problem it said exact value. That means I'm going to find out what this actually is on our unit circle. We know that that is over here with a y, and the coordinate point here is negative 1/2 comma root 3 over 2. And y over x will be negative root 3. On these, we're going to write as a single trigonometric expression. So when I write as a single trigonometric expression, that means I'm going to pull it back to the other side, but I don't need to simplify it like I did on the last one. So here you can see this is going to be a tangent, and it's going to be a tangent difference because the numerator, and I'll do 140 minus 60, which is tangent of 80. And I'm thankful that we don't have to evaluate that on the unit circle because it's not a unit circle value. Ooh, here we got a few radians on this one. That's okay. We're not going to be intimidated by that. We first notice that it is a tangent. And if I look at that numerator, I can see it's a plus. So this is really tangent of pi over 3 plus pi over 4. That's what this whole expression on this side will pull back to, because this is looking like tangent of A plus tangent of B over 1 minus tangent of A tangent B. So we know that on the other side of that equation, it says tangent of A plus B. So all I'm doing is taking something that's expanded already and pulling it back to the easier looking side. So in order to add these two radians, I want the same denominator. So I'm going to have 4 pi over 12 plus 3 pi over 12, which is really tangent of 7 pi over 12. All right. And last but not least, we can have so here was our doing the formula forwards. Here was our doing the formula backwards, both simplifying it and just and evaluating it. And then the last type is those triangle types. So just like I did with sine and cosine, I can do these with tangent as well. Okay, so here I have two triangles. A is in quadrant 2. I'm going to draw that over here. So I've got negative 15 and 17. This is A. Let's throw an A in it. So I have cos, and then I want to find the last side. So y squared plus negative 15 squared is equal to 17 squared. Y is either positive or negative 8. Since it's going up like that, it's going to be a positive 8. So I have cosine of A is negative 15 seventeenths. Since the two problems I have just have tangent in them, I'm just going to make tangent in my key. But I could make a key with sine as well. Tangent of A is going to be 8 over negative 15. So negative 8 fifteenths. Now when I have quadrant B is a quadrant 3 angle, and I have tangent of 7/24, and that's the only thing I'm going to need. So I could go and draw this triangle if I wanted and say, I know this is 7, negative 7, and negative 24. Last side's going to be 25, but I don't need any of that because the only piece I need is what tangent is. So tangent of A plus B, I'm going to write out my formula, tangent of A plus B. Well, that's the same as tangent of A plus tangent of B over 1 minus tangent of A, tangent of B. In my key, I know tangent of A is negative 8 fifteenths. So I'm going to replace tangent of A in here with negative 8 fifteenths. And tangent of B, I have a 7/24, so I'm going to replace that up there. Oh, these are not going to be pretty to work with. That's okay, we can make it 1 minus negative 8 fifteenths times 7/24. And this is where I would bust out my calculator because these are very, very large. Well, not large, but like they're not pretty numbers. They're not easy fractions to work with. And unlike our sine and cosine ones that before they were just make a common denominator perfectly, that didn't happen here. So negative 8 fifteenths plus 7/24 comes out as that. But I can hit math frac and get a fraction for me. So negative 29 over 120. Lovely. And then 1 minus negative 8 fifteenths. You would definitely be allowed a calculator on this, so don't fret about that. And math frac, 52 over 45. And then I'm just going to divide those. Negative 29 over 120. And I'm just going to use the answer function, so it'll pull the line above it. And math frac one more time. Negative 87 over 460. Oops. Okay. So one more problem, and that's just doing the subtraction. So instead, this is going to be tangent of A minus B is tangent of A minus tangent of B over 1 plus tangent of A tangent of B. I know I'm running off the thing. So go ahead and pause the video and try that one out. So that's the completed problem. Hopefully you got negative 297 over 304. This concludes lesson 10.2 on tangent, sum, and difference.